The people who haunt you the most are rarely the ones who are clear with you. They're the ones who left you in limbo. You know the feeling. You wake up and check your phone before you even remember your own dreams. You replay tiny details. The way she looked at you, the way she laughed, the way she said your name. And you still don't know if you're the guy she wants or the almost she keeps around for comfort. It's not quite rejection, not quite acceptance. It's a quiet courtroom in your head, waiting for a verdict that never comes. In this video, we're not chasing fantasies or secret tricks. We're going to walk through 7 subtle patterns in her behavior that reveal when she's quietly testing what it would feel like to be with you. Not as a buddy, not as a placeholder, but as an actual partner. You'll see how her attention, her body language, her invitations, even her silence, all form a language that most men never learn to read. If you stay with me to the end, you won't just guess better. You'll understand why your brain obsesses over her signals, why uncertainty hurts more than a clear no, and how to step out of that desperation loop and into calm, steady perception. After this, you'll never look at her mixed messages the same way again. I'm PsycheLure, or more accurately, I'm the voice of the part of you that's tired of being confused. I'm not here to hype you up or tear her down. I'm here to help you see what's really happening, with the kind of calm, almost uncomfortable clarity that changes how you move in every room you enter. When you're ready, we'll start the descent. The descent begins, living in her silence. There is a particular kind of loneliness that doesn't look lonely from the outside. You talk to people, you go to work, you scroll, you laugh. But underneath, there is one question looping in the back of your mind. Does she feel anything for me? Or am I imagining everything? You notice how much of your day bends around her without you admitting it. You sit where she might pass. You check if she viewed your story. You replay the way she said, "Hey," as if it were a confession instead of a greeting. You tell yourself you're being rational, but every small interaction becomes a verdict you're trying to extract from her. This is the trap. You're not addicted to her. You're addicted to the hope that one more sign will finally settle the doubt in your chest. Your brain isn't cruel, it's trying to protect you. Uncertainty feels dangerous, so it keeps scanning for patterns, searching for meaning in every pause, every emoji, every change in her tone. But when the evidence is unclear, the mind doesn't calm down. It tightens its grip. That's why you feel restless even when nothing bad has happened. The truth is, you're not just waiting for her to make a move. You're waiting for someone to quietly tell you, you are wanted. You are not a mistake to be politely tolerated. And until you have that certainty, her silence, her ambiguity, her mixed softness becomes the stage where your fears and your desires perform together. In a moment, we'll step out of that fog and into structure. Because beneath all of this confusion, there are patterns. 7 of them show up the most when a woman is quietly trying to see if you could be more than the man she just passes in the hallway. The frame, 7 quiet signals. Before we talk about her, we need to talk about reality. Most women will never walk up to you and say, "I want to be your girlfriend." Not because they're manipulative, but because attraction doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows in experiments, tiny tests, quiet invitations, small shifts in how they treat you compared to everyone else. If you only listen to what's said out loud, you'll miss almost everything that matters. The truth is, her nervous system will speak long before her mouth ever dares to. In this video, we're going to decode 7 quiet signals that appear when she's not just being nice, but actually running a deeper test. Could I see myself with him? Or am I just entertained by him? You'll notice these signs in how she gives you energy, how she uses her eyes, how she lets you into her world, how she lets you into her space. And just as importantly, what it means if none of these signals ever show up around you. From this point on, think of yourself less as a desperate decoder and more as an observer. You're not here to chase hints. You're here to watch patterns. Now, let's begin with the first way she quietly makes room for you in her life. Sign 1 and 2. The way she opens space for you. The first signal is not dramatic. It's not a confession, a late-night text, or a jealous outburst. It's something quieter. She keeps making room for your presence. Notice how she behaves when you enter a space you both share. A classroom, an office, a coffee shop, a friend group. She doesn't jump up and hug you or announce anything obvious. Instead, the air around her shifts just a little. She turns her body a few degrees in your direction. She keeps conversations going with you a bit longer than with others. She asks small questions that don't need to be asked, just to keep the moment alive. Most men dismiss this as, she's just friendly. But friendliness is usually efficient, short, polite, symmetrical. What we're talking about here is investment. When a woman is curious about you, she will instinctively open loops with you. She'll bring up a topic that can't be finished in one interaction, mention a plan that will probably happen again next week, or say something like, "You should come next time," even if she doesn't lock it in. Her nervous system is doing a small experiment. What happens if I give him more space in my day? Look at the pattern, not the single moment. Does she seem to find excuses to be in your orbit? Does she linger after everyone else leaves? Slow down when you're walking together? Look almost disappointed when the interaction has to end? This is sign 1. She extends the interaction instead of collapsing it. Attraction doesn't always rush toward you. Sometimes it just refuses to let you go quickly. Now, the second signal is carried less by her behavior and more by her eyes. We like to pretend eye contact is a simple thing. Either she looks at you or she doesn't. But the truth is more precise. The real question is, how long does she stay before she escapes? You'll notice it in small, almost imperceptible hesitations. You catch her looking at you across a room. She doesn't snap her head away like she's been burned. Instead, there's a half-second delay where you can feel her deciding whether to hold or retreat. Sometimes she looks down and smiles to herself. Sometimes she pretends to check her phone, but only after she knows you saw her. We look at what our mind is wrestling with. Threat, attraction, confusion. Anything that stirs us will pull our eyes toward it. So watch for these patterns. She scans a crowded room and somehow always re-lands on you. When someone else speaks, her eyes move, but when you speak, they settle. In groups, she uses her gaze to keep you in the conversation, checking your reaction, almost as if your opinion weighs more than the others. The eyes betray what the mouth is not ready to confess. If she truly feels nothing, her attention will float past you like it does with any other stranger. She won't keep checking where you are. She won't trace your movements without realizing it. She won't hold your gaze long enough for it to feel like a question. Sign 2 is not just she looks at you. It's that her eyes hesitate before letting you go. Together, these first 2 signals tell you one thing. On some level, conscious or not, she is making space for you, in her time and in her perception. You are no longer background. You're becoming a variable her mind is quietly rearranging her world around. Once a woman begins doing that, the next test is simple. Will she start inviting you into the places and people that actually matter to her? Sign 3 and 4. The way she invites you into her world. Attraction doesn't stay in isolation for long. If she's truly curious about you, she won't keep you sealed off in a private bubble forever. Eventually, she'll try to see how you fit inside her world. This is where sign 3 appears. She starts weaving you into her social fabric. Maybe she mentions a gathering and says, "You should come, it'd be fun if you were there." Maybe she invites you to join group plans, study sessions, after-work drinks, game nights, or low-key hangouts that matter to her. She doesn't just talk to you in corridors and hallways. She wants to see you in a wider frame, around her friends, around her usual environment. We don't mix our romantic curiosity with our social circle without a reason. When a woman is interested, part of her is asking, how does he move with my people? Do they relax around him, laugh with him, trust him? Her friends are not just background characters. They are a mirror she uses to see you from the outside. Pay attention to the details. Does she bring you into conversations with her friends instead of letting you stand on the edge? Does she subtly defend you or frame you positively when she introduces you? Do her friends look at the two of you in that knowing way, as if there's already a story forming around you? If she keeps you hidden, never inviting, never connecting you to the rest of her life, she may like your attention, but fear the implications. If she keeps pulling you in, she's not just experimenting with you as a moment, she's experimenting with you as a role. Then there is sign 4, quieter but much more charged. Her body stops treating you like just another person. We all have an automatic radius around us. For strangers and casual acquaintances, that radius stays intact. You don't stand too close. You don't brush against them more than necessary. You don't lean your head in when they speak. But when she's drawn to you, her body begins to violate that invisible boundary in subtle, deniable ways. She sits close enough that your knees almost touch and doesn't move. She leans in when you speak, even when she could hear you just fine. Her arm finds your shoulder in a joke. Her hand lingers on your forearm a fraction too long when she's making a point. In photos, she gravitates toward you, angling her body so it faces you instead of away from you. The body tells the truth months before the mouth feels safe enough to. This doesn't mean that every touch is a declaration. Some people are physically expressive with everyone. You need to compare how she treats you to how she treats the rest of the world. If she's equally close and touchy with everyone, you're reading a personality trait, not a preference. But if you notice that she maintains distance with most people, yet lets you into her physical space and doesn't correct it, that's not random. Her nervous system is testing how it feels to have you near. Is it calming, exciting, safe, overwhelming? She's collecting data long before any official label is spoken out loud. The mistake many men make is either ignoring these signals or pouncing on them, turning every small touch into a desperate grab for more. Your job is simpler and more powerful. Just notice. Notice where she chooses to place you, in her social life and in her physical space. If she invites you into her circle and allows you into her personal radius, she is no longer pretending you're just a friend, no matter what words she uses. She is running a quiet experiment with a very specific question underneath. Can I imagine this man closer without feeling the need to pull away? Once you understand that, the next level of signals becomes easier to see. Not just where she puts your body, but where she places your voice, in her mind, her emotions, and her attention. Sign 5 and 6, the way she gives you her mind and her attention. There's a difference between a woman who talks to you and a woman who thinks with you. Sign 5 appears when she starts handing you pieces of her inner world. Not as performance, not as gossip, but as something she wants you to hold. It begins quietly. She starts sharing small frustrations from her day, then fears, then memories she doesn't tell just anyone. She might message you about a problem before she tells her other friends. She might ask, "What do you think I should do?" Not because she's incapable of deciding, but because she wants to feel your mind wrapped around her situation. She wants to experience how it feels when you are the one helping her regulate her emotions. We don't give emotional access to people we see as disposable. We give it to the ones we're subconsciously auditioning for a larger role. Notice the tone of these conversations. Are they moving beyond surface topics and into fears about the future, family, intimacy, failure? Does she circle back to things she told you earlier, like she expects you to remember? Does she seem lighter after talking to you, as if your presence rearranged the weight of what she was carrying? This is more than she trusts you as a friend. Friendship is horizontal. You share, she shares, and it stays balanced. When attraction is forming, the weight of what she shares with you changes. She's not just informing you about her life, she's letting you become a reference point inside it. That is sign 5, when you become one of the places her emotions go to be processed. Then there's sign 6, the one modern life has made almost impossible to hide, her digital attention. In a world where everyone is drowning in content, attention is the only real currency left. We don't spend it consistently on people who mean nothing to us. Watch what her behavior does when there is no obligation. Does she routinely view your stories, even when you don't talk that day? Does she like, react, or reply to your posts more than seems necessary? Does she respond faster to you than to most others, or send you things she thought you'd like? These are small, low-risk signals, but they're not random. Every notification she sends you is a tap on the shoulder. I still remember you. You are still on my radar. The pattern matters more than any single like or view. If she shows up in your digital world over and over, she's keeping a thread alive. She may not know exactly what she wants from you yet, but she's choosing not to let the connection die. When she keeps lighting up your screen, she's really asking one question. Will you notice that I keep choosing you when I don't have to? Your job is not to obsess over every like. Your job is to stand back and ask, is she passively existing in my world or actively feeding the line between us? If she gives you her inner weather and her recurring attention in a life where she doesn't owe you either, she's doing more than being polite. She's letting you become a quiet constant in the background of her days. And once a woman lets you into her mind and her routine, there is one last place left to test, the spaces she protects the most. Section 7. Sign 7. The Sanctuary Invite. Every person has places that feel like armor taken off. A bedroom, a small apartment, a studio, a park bench they always return to, a cafe corner where they write, draw, or think. These are not just locations, they are sanctuaries, rooms where the mask is thinner and the noise of the world fades. Sign 7 is when she starts allowing you into those spaces. It might look like an invitation to her apartment for coffee because it's quieter than going out. It might be her bringing you to a spot she goes to when she's overwhelmed, saying, I don't really bring people here. It might be as simple as, come over, I'm cooking, you should try this, said in the casual tone people use when they're trying not to reveal how big the gesture actually is. On the surface, it seems practical or convenient. Underneath, something more serious is happening. She's testing whether your presence can exist in the place where she is most herself. We guard these spaces with a different level of instinct. We don't invite chaos into the room that keeps us sane. We don't willingly open the door to someone we feel fundamentally unsafe around. So when she lets you cross that threshold, pay attention. Is she relaxed or hyper-controlled? Does she let the room look lived in, or is everything staged? Does she allow silence with you there, or does she fill every gap with small talk out of fear? This sign isn't about whether something physical happens. Attraction doesn't always rush towards sex. Sometimes its first test is simply, do I feel more like myself with him here, or less? If she invites you into her sanctuary and seems calmer, more playful, more unguarded, that's not an accident. Her body is telling her, for now, this is safe. Her mind is quietly scanning how it feels to share space, to exist side by side with you in the background noise of everyday life. If you ever find yourself in that room, don't treat it like a trophy. Treat it like a test you're being trusted to pass. Your role there is not to prove how interesting or desirable you are. It's to show, through your presence, that her intuition didn't betray her by opening that door. When a woman gives you access to her sanctuary, she's not just letting you into her space. She's letting you near the part of her life where labels don't exist yet. Just feeling, just instinct, just possibility. By now, you've seen 7 ways a woman might quietly signal that she's trying to imagine you closer. But there's a harder question, the one most men avoid. What if you look at your life and realize you've never seen any of these signs at all? The mirror turn, when none of these signs appear. This is the part most people skip. It's easier to replay every small signal and convince yourself there must be something there, than to sit with the possibility that, right now, there isn't. Maybe as you listened, you realized something. She doesn't open space for you. She doesn't look for you with her eyes. She doesn't pull you into her world, her circle, her sanctuary. Your notifications stay mostly quiet. Your name doesn't seem to change her posture or her mood. It's tempting to turn that into a curse. I'm invisible. I'm doomed. No one ever chooses me. But that story is not psychology. That's pain talking. The more honest reading is simpler and more useful. Right now, the signal you're sending out into the world is blurred. You may be hiding behind humor, never letting anyone see what you actually want. You may be moving in ways that scream, "Please like me," instead of, "This is who I am." You may be shrinking your presence in every room so you won't be rejected, and then calling it fate when no one responds. You are not cursed. You are just unclear. Attraction responds to clarity, of direction, of energy, of standards. People are drawn to those whose lives point somewhere, whose posture says, "I know what I'm building," with or without approval. When none of these signs appear, it's not a life sentence. It's a mirror. It's reality quietly saying, there is work to be done, not on your tricks, but on your center. And the moment you stop taking that personally is the moment you can finally start using it. Integration. How to move differently now. Now that you see the patterns, the real question isn't, does she like me? It's, how do I move in a way that doesn't betray myself, whether she does or not? Most men, once they learn signs like these, fall into 2 traps. They either ignore them and stay passive, hoping life will eventually drag them into a relationship by accident, or they attack them, pushing, pressuring, trying to force a confession the moment they sense interest. Both are fear in a different costume. There is a third option, calm response. When you notice these signs, you don't need to make a speech. You don't need to interrogate her feelings. You simply allow your actions to become a little more intentional. You match her investment without chasing. You invite instead of demand. You show interest without making her reaction the verdict on your value. The more at peace you are with the possibility of losing her, the easier it becomes for her to actually choose you. Because no one feels safe building a future with a man whose entire sense of self collapses if she hesitates. So use these signs as information, not oxygen. Let them tell you where to lean in, where to step back, where to stop waiting for a fantasy that isn't there. You are not here to decode women like a puzzle. You are here to become someone whose presence is so grounded that it becomes obvious to you first and then to them who belongs close and who never did. PsycheLure, a room for men who think. Most of what you see online about dating falls into two extremes. On one side, people teaching you to manipulate, to perform, to win at any cost. On the other, people telling you that you're always the victim, that the world is broken and there's nothing you can do. If you've watched this far, it's probably because neither of those worlds feels like home to you. You don't want to turn into a cold strategist, playing with feelings like pieces on a board. And you're tired of living as if you're powerless, waiting for the right person to magically read your soul and save you from your own confusion. PsycheLure exists in the space between those two extremes. This is a place for men who want quiet power, the kind that comes from understanding minds, starting with their own. A place for those who want to see attraction not as a game to rig, but as a pattern to read. For those who are willing to trade outrage and drama for clarity and responsibility. Here we study why you chase what hurts you, why some people feel like gravity and others like air, how your nervous system, your ego, your fears and your fantasies all collide in the tiny moments you call chemistry. If this kind of calm, precise breakdown feels like a relief, if you felt something unclench while listening, not because I told you what you wanted to hear, but because something finally made sense, then this is your room. You're welcome to stay. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll keep walking through the parts of love, desire, and power that most people are too distracted or too afraid to look at directly. A different way to look at her. When this video ends, she will still be who she is. Her signals won't suddenly become perfect, her fears won't vanish, her patterns won't instantly align with yours. But you can be different. You can stop building stories out of thin air. You can stop begging the universe for a sign and start watching what is actually in front of you. You can let these 7 signals guide you, not as promises, but as information about who is truly moving toward you and who is only orbiting your loneliness. The next time you catch her eyes holding yours a little too long, the next time she pulls you into her world, her thoughts, her space, or the next time you realize none of this is happening at all, remember, this isn't about blame, it's about seeing. And once you see clearly, you're no longer just waiting to be chosen. You're quietly, steadily choosing the kind of life and the kind of love that actually deserves you.